Hello dear student, welcome again in our online lecture series. In this lecture, we will study our first chapter, atomic structure. So already we have discussed the syllabus, course pattern, details about the each and every bit in the topics. So let us discuss and let us start to the point, that is our chapter number 1, atomic structure, isn't it? So already you have studied the chapter in 11th standard, isn't it? So in the chapter we are going to study the discoveries of fundamental particles. Fundamental particles are nothing but the electrons, protons, neutrons. Their discoveries, their properties, how they were discovered, isn't it? So so far we have discussed. Let us revise something about the structure of atom. In first attempt was made by the John Dalton in 1805. 1805, John Dalton. The very primitive theory of atomic structure or structure of atom. John Dalton have proposed the theory, Dalton theory, in which he proposed that atom is the smallest particle of matter. Atom is the smallest particle of matter which cannot be further divided, non-divisible part of matter. Matter is composed of number of atoms, isn't it? That is Dalton's atomic theory. That is John Dalton proposed Dalton's atomic theory. Atomic theory. According to this theory, atom is the smallest particle of matter which cannot be further divided. Indivisible part of matter, that is atom. But further development, discovery of cathode rays by scientist Sir J.J. Thomson in 1896. In 1896, what happened? Sir J.J. Thomson. J.J. Thomson. Sir J.J. Thomson have performed a famous experiment, that is cathode ray experiment. Discovery of cathode ray in discharge tube. In discharge tube. Whatever Thomson's experiment, in Thomson's experiment there is a glass tube consists of 2 electrodes, isn't it? Very high voltage is applied across these this electrode, and tube is evacuated with the help of vacuum pump under reduced pressure. What happened? A stream of light has been observed in the tube, which shows fluorescence at the end of positively charged electrode. Means a stream of particle flowing from negatively charged electrode towards positively charged electrode, that is from cathode to anode. So setup of this experiment is like this. There is electrode sealed in a glass tube, isn't it? Isn't it? This is our glass tube. Then there is a vacuum pipe is connected towards vacuum pump. This is negatively charged electrode, positively charged electrode. Okay. A very high voltage battery is connected. Now circuit is complete. Now what happened? In this experiment, Sir J.J. Thomson observed that a stream of negatively charged particle is flowing from negative plate towards positively charged plate and shows a fluorescence at the behind the positively charged electrode, that is anode. This is our anode. This is cathode. Cathode, negatively charged electrode, anode, positively charged electrode. A beam of light is flowing from cathode towards anode and shows fluorescence This is zinc sulfide coating, ZNS coating, fluorescent material coating, which shows a fluorescence means glowing of light. A light is observed. Light is observed and towards the anode side, isn't it? A glowing of light. That phenomena is known as fluorescence. So, on the basis of this observation, Sir J.J. Thomson made some conclusions. Which are those? The rays flows from when a high voltage is applied towards the across the electrodes, a negatively charged particle flows from cathode to anode, isn't it? With same velocity as that of light, having kinetic energy, having some kinetic energy, travels right angle to the medium in a straight line, isn't it? Cast shadow of any object. Again, one more property, that this cathode ray when fall on any metal surface, the metal surface is heating, isn't it? Raise the temperature of that metal surface. Means these cathode rays are deflected in electromagnetic medium, or when electromagnetic medium is applied, they are deflected. They show deflection toward the positively charged electrode. When an electric field is applied, they are attracted towards positively charged electrode, isn't it? So, with these observations, irrespective of that material which is used, instead of that metal, suppose I have used the aluminum as electrode or copper as electrode, the same phenomena is observed and having same mass and same property, irrespective of material, whether I use copper, whether I use aluminum or any other metal, isn't it? It means that each and every element, each and every metal have same constituent particle, and same constituent particle later on the name is given by scientist Lorentz. Scientist Lorentz given the name electron, which is constituent fundamental particle of atom, subatomic particle atom, having charge for negatively charged particle minus 1.60 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, unit negative charge, and having mass 9.101 into 10 to the power minus 28 gram. Very minute mass is there as compared to proton. Again, same phenomena, scientist Goldstein performed the same experiment, and he modified the cathode. Instead of using regular cathode, he used perforated cathode. And what happened? Again, same phenomena, but particles are flowing in the reverse direction, isn't it? So that experiment is performed by the scientist Goldstein in 1886. Scientist Goldstein performed experiment, used perforated cathode. Means cathode which have gaps. This is our glass tube. Suppose this is positively charged electrode, negatively charged electrode. This is anode. This is cathode. Okay. Then now high voltage is applied. Now what happens? Again, same phenomena is observed. positively charged particle travels from the anode and pass through the canals, these perforations, isn't it? This perforation and shows the fluorescence coated behind the cathode. This is ZNS coating, zinc sulfide coating, and this when this positively charged particle strike on this zinc sulfide coating, there is phenomena of fluorescence. Fluorescence, which means glowing of light. Glowing of light. On the basis of this experiment, again some conclusions were made, and it is concluded that positively charged particles, a stream of positively charged particle, initially name is given canal rays. Initially name was given canal rays because they pass from the perforations of cathode. They are attracted towards negatively charged electrode, hence they should have positive charge. Name is given anode ray. Initially name was given, that is anode ray. And same anode rays constitute, the latter one name is given by Goldstein, proton. Proton, isn't it? Name is given by as a proton. How this happen? Whenever the electrons are strike on the metal surface, when electron strike on the metal surface, there is ionization of that metal. Electrons were removed, isn't it? Whatever the reaction is, we can quote the reaction when electron is fall on the metal surface. Suppose we have metal and we are bombarding the electrons, isn't it? Whatever that metal will go ionized, there is formation of M plus center plus 2 electrons. This M plus means electron is removed from the metal surface, outer surface, and there is formation of metal cation. This is known as proton, isn't it? And this positively charged proton or metal center, okay, this positively charged rays known as anode rays. Initially name was given canal rays, now it is known as proton, isn't it? So proton is a fundamental particle having charge plus 1.67. It is equal and opposite towards the electron. Electron have minus 1.6, proton have charge plus 1.6. In case of mass, it is heavier than electron. Electron having mass 9.101 into 10 to the power minus 28 gram, whereas mass of proton it is 1.67 to into 10 to the power minus 24. Proton is slightly heavier than electron, isn't it? Slightly heavier than electron, but having same charge, unit positive charge, or we can say one atomic mass unit. One atomic mass unit, its mass, and one unit positive charge having its charge. Okay, this is proton. This is about proton. And last, there is neutron. It is fundamental particle which is observed during the radioactive reaction, artificial transmutation. When beryllium is bombarded by the helium nuclei or alpha rays, there is formation of chargeless particle but having some mass. And the discovery of neutron is in the experiment by the Sir James Chadwick. James Chadwick in 1932. In 1932, James Chadwick discovered the neutron. What he have done? He have done the artificial transmutation. It is the term related to the radio. It is term related to the artificial transmutation, means bombardment of any bombardment of any projectile on the target, isn't it? So that is the bombardment of any projectile on the target nuclei, isn't it? So we have here projectile, that is helium nuclei or alpha particle. Helium nuclei having mass 2, charge 2, mass 4, bombarded on beryllium mass, it is 4 and beryllium 9. We get carbon having atomic number 6, mass number 12, plus neutron having charge 0 and mass 1, isn't it? Mass number, atomic number is increased by 2 unit, 4 plus 2 6, and mass number increased by the 3 unit, that is 12. Okay, so this is our target nucleus projectile. This is our target nucleus. This is our recoil nucleus, and this is ejectile. So neutron is discovered as a ejectile, means byproduct or a side product of nuclear reaction. It is artificial transmutation. The discovery of neutron is performed by the James Chadwick, isn't it? Which is having charge, no charge, it is neutral, and mass is same as that of proton. So on the basis of this fundamental particle, so we know that we have the matter, and each and every element, each and every compounds have not similar property, isn't it? They have characteristic property. For example, the properties of sodium and properties of chlorine are different one, isn't it? Two different elements have different properties. This is due to the presence of different electronic environment, different number of electrons, different number of protons in their nucleus. How this proton, neutron, electron were present in the matter, how they are arranged, whether only these fundamental particles are there or some other particles also. So with the development of the science, some other fundamental particles are also there. For example, meson, pion, isn't it? Then neutron, neutrino, antineutron, antiproton. Means by the development of nuclear chemistry, we will study in second semester nuclear chemistry. So another fundamental particles are also there inside the nucleus. For the time, we want to study these fundamental particles, electron, proton, neutron, their arrangements in the nucleus, isn't it? How these particles are arranged in the matter. Okay, that is known as atomic model. In the atomic model, we will study arrangement of fundamental particle in the nucleus, in the atoms. According to Dalton theory, atom is the smallest particle. And now we are going to study the fundamental particle which is present inside the atom. So we are looking inside the atom and we are trying to find the possible position and how they are located inside the atom. So with this we have to stop here. In next lecture we will study the Henry Moseley's experiment of bombardment of X-rays, isn't it? Formation of X-rays from different metallic surface. So copy this. We will study in next lecture atomic number.